almost 2 years since the 9 justices on the highest court in the land reversed an abortion ruling by another Supreme Court that stood for 5 decades. Before that happened, pro-life Californians had marched for life annually, hoping for that outcome. As they prepare to take to the streets again Monday, what's the message in a state that's enshrined abortion rights in its constitution? Well, we've got Jeannie Mancini here to help answer that question. She is the president of March for Life Education and Defense. Jeannie, good morning to you.
Thanks so much for having me.
Definitely. I have to ask, a lot of people might think that this march doesn't really mean anything in a state in which abortion rights are now part of the state constitution. What would you say to them?
Oh, gosh, we rally, thousands of marchers every year. Why? To give witness to those who have no voice, to give witness. And so it's critically important, even in states that are very pro-abortion. Maybe it's even more important that we can be a voice for those who have no voice, for the inherent dignity of the unborn human person and their mothers.
In March, research by the Guttmacher Institute found that the number of abortions happening in America rose to its highest level in more than a decade last year, the year after the reversal of Roe. There were more than 1 million abortions in this country in 2023. Is that what you would have expected to see happen given the reversal?
I do think right now we're in the cultural earthquake of the overturn of Roe v. Wade. It took 50 years with that law on the books and the loss of over 60 million American unborn lives. And so while it's such sad news, at the same time, it takes a long time to change hearts and minds. And the mission of the March for Life is to make abortion unthinkable. The reason I'm pro-life, one of the main reasons, is that 2 women in my life chose abortion and deeply, deeply regretted it. And I would never wish that upon anyone.
Arizona has been in the spotlight lately, invoking a near total ban on abortion by resurrecting a law from the 1860s. In the last 48 hours, Republicans there blocking a Democratic effort to repeal it. Even before that 1864 measure came back into play, Planned Parenthood here in California was reporting that just their clinics in this state were seeing about 13 patients from Arizona a week, and now they expect that to rise even more. It doesn't seem like what the Supreme Court decided in 2022 is stopping the desire for this procedure. And isn't that what would have to change for the demand to disappear?
Amen. Yes, I couldn't agree more. And so I do think what's happening is there's a lot of fear mongering, especially, sadly, from the governor of California, who has opened up your state to be really a mecca for abortion tourism. The reality is that what a woman most needs when she's facing an unexpected pregnancy is to be told, you've got this. Studies have shown that 6 out of 10 women who've chosen abortion would have preferred to choose life if they felt that they had the requisite support that they needed. So that's financial support, emotional support, etc. The reality is that the pro-life movement is very, very supportive. When you look, for example, at pregnancy care centers, which, by the way, that is what our call to action is about in California on Monday, about making sure that students who are already receiving comprehensive sex ed in the California public school system will also get to hear about pregnancy care centers. PRCs provide over $350 million in free resources around our country every year to women facing unexpected pregnancies. It's just one of the many opportunities for support that these women so desperately desire. So we're doing everything we can to get the word out there and to change hearts and minds so that abortion is unthinkable.
I have to go back to the whole you've got this that you just mentioned a little bit ago. As with the situation in Arizona right now, many see the pro-life movement as being very much about making sure the baby in the scenario is welcomed into the world. But many of the Republican lawmakers who push that agenda frequently don't support the child care and nutrition and preschool programs that would support that life once it's here, that might make someone feel like, okay, I do have this. I can handle this even if it wasn't particularly planned. So what responsibility does the pro-life movement have in doing everything for that life once it does exist?
Great question. Okay, so the theme of the National March for Life this year was with every woman, for every child. And there are so many states that have wonderful funding streams, Texas, Mississippi, Indiana. Arizona can do a little bit more work here that is supporting mothers once the baby is born. And so we are about moms feeling that they have what they need to be able to choose life. And to go back to the quote that I said that you just brought up again, you've got this. A woman most needs to hear she can do it, but she needs to hear that she will be supported and that you will support her, right? Like the person that's talking to her, that they can help and support her, but then to point out these wonderful resources that are out there, and there should absolutely be more resources.
Okay, so that means you would be pushing for, those conservative lawmakers to support those childcare, nutrition, and, preschool programs?
So the March for Life is very much focused on the beginning of life. That is our mission. I personally, yes, 100% support all of those different things that you said, because we need to support the mom and the baby through all stages of life. But even right now, I think an untold story are many of these different funding streams and mechanisms available to women who are facing unexpected pregnancies. In addition, also all the resources of the pregnancy care movement and maternity homes where women can live there for 2 or 3 years and they can get education credits and healthcare, free healthcare, and get food and shelter, etc. So there are a lot of opportunities for support. There need to be more, but I think we need to do our part in telling those stories so that women always feel like they have the requisite support to choose life if they would want to.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Janie. California's March for Life is on Monday all around the state capitol, starting with a prayer rally. We appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.